By 2030, 25% of the American population will have turned 65 and will be retiring. And so we shouldn't forget that the future work also means that we've got a lot of people retiring from jobs that we still need, to swarms of displaced workers because of automation that are in their 40s and 50s or just retired in their 60s, whether it be long haul truck drivers or whether it be retail clerks or bank tellers. We've got welders and plumbers and HVAC people that still need to come and help make sure our houses are working. So I'm curious to know what you mayors are doing about those issues, about looking at the retiring workforce and the fact that this gig economy is going to replace a lot of typical jobs that we have, particularly in the service sector industry areas.
The jobs don't necessarily disappear for 40 and 50-year-olds and those above it. And I will say also that given what's happening and what people are earning out of Social Security and other things, even the people that are in that 65, 70-year-old, a lot of them need to continue to work. And so we have to evolve those individuals, and instead of them making widgets or whatever it was that they were doing, a lot of those people need to, quite frankly, be retained as people to service the robots that are now making the widgets.
We realize here that innovative and smart cities not only focus on millennials or Gen Zers, but also focus on perennials, those who are 50 and over, and I like to call it the gift that keeps on giving. The reality is that prior to the pandemic, the over 50 marketplace in the U.S. was a $7.6 trillion market. You know, if you looked at that in terms of GDP, it'd be the third largest economy in the world behind the U.S. and China. So in a world in which demography is destiny, if you focus on building an age-friendly city, and you'll find that those who are over 50 and 60 are looking for the same amenities, the cultural amenities, the social amenities, the educational infrastructure, the tech infrastructure, as every other demographic. If you do that, then you're in good shape. Now we are, yes, as your question suggests, going to see some major disruption in our economy. We're going to see some of the trends in future of work accelerate much faster because of the pandemic. The question is, then what are we doing to invest in our entrepreneurial ecosystem, but also what are we doing to invest in lifelong learning? But what are we doing to make sure, just as Frank referenced, that these new jobs that emerge, that folks don't always like the term upskilling and the like, but everyone believes in lifelong learning. You know, this is an iterative process. We learn, we grow, but smart cities will continue to invest in lifelong learning for the citizens. Our partnership with our technical system has helped to ensure that, focusing on even apprenticeships, not just for young people, but folks of all ages. There's a whole lot more work to be done, but all of our research in the past pushes us in this direction. Now we're going to have to put our foot on the gas because the world's changing much more rapidly, and our citizens, I might add, are adapting to these changes quicker than we are. So we have to make sure that we catch up with our citizens to make sure they have the tools they need to participate in the economy of the 21st century.
Let me just speak personally. What I find real interesting is that now that I am inching so close to 65, I'm not looking to stop working. And for many people who are my age, we're at the point now where we have choices that we can make, but we certainly don't see that we are ready to stop working. What has occurred here in Huntington is with the local university, they're arranging for classes for seniors and retired folks to be able to come in and be able to audit classes and be able to have an active participation within the university. Interestingly, the university is seeking to develop housing to encourage seniors to come to the area, be able to shelter there, but also be able to attend the university and take classes. We're all learning from what other cities have done. I mean, just think of what Mayor Burke is telling us that is occurring within Chattanooga. Every one of our cities, as you pointed out, Mark, every one of our cities is seeking to do just that, is to be able to have a gigabit economy, to have a digital city effect within our communities. It's a city that is friendly to all ages. And what we're seeking to do, one of the areas that we are targeting is making sure that we also stress the level of diversity within our community. We have been very actively and aggressively marketing just how diverse our community is and accepting it is to the LGBT community, as to other ethnicities and such. And what we're finding is that individuals who are beginning to look, and this was before the pandemic, beginning to look, where might we be able to settle? They're seeing what we have actually right here. And it's amazing to me the number of individuals who are moving into the area. And it's particularly creating an opportunity for them to, once again, connect with those, because we do have a university community, to connect with those students and be able to help create, again, entrepreneurial opportunities with them. It's a matter of bridging the gap and making sure that we all stand as one community in common unity, regardless of age.
I think you make an interesting point about the common thread of the fact that age 65 is no longer really a retirement age. It might be for Social Security, perhaps, but not so in terms of wanting to have a quality lifestyle. So, Mayor Burke, Andy, how about Chattanooga, and how about some of the programs you're doing as it relates to this growing older workforce?
Well, you know, Chattanooga started out this year really well. In January, Forbes said that we were going to be the #1 city in the country for job growth. It hasn't quite turned out that way, let me just say, but I don't think that was 100% our fault on not having huge job growth in 2020. I think a lot of that is because that we were positioned to do that was because of some of the lessons that I learned from Kaufman when I first became mayor, and investing in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and investing in innovation, which affects people in every age group, including seniors. They want to get out and get started on their own ideas as well. And so, you know, we live in the age of innovation, and innovation runs on talent. Talent is one of the hardest things to invest in because it's long-term and it takes a lot of money and time and attention. But if we invest in talent, then I believe in the long run, our cities will benefit as great as any investment that we make. So for us, you know, of course, we work with the local, community college and all kinds of group. We have our Economic Recovery Alliance, which is aiming towards how we grow the number of post-secondary attainment credentials and degrees that we have in our community. But for me, I think the way I really think about this is, how do we get more people to the middle class? A couple of years ago, I did a State of the City, and I announced the Chattanooga Dream, which was really about the fact that we see so many fewer people who are succeeding at the American dream. When my dad was growing up, there was a 90% chance that he would make more than his father at the same age. And now for millennials who are growing up, that's less than 50%. And in places like Chattanooga, our jobs are more at risk because of automation. We know that nearly half of our jobs are at risk for automation. And so we've got to invest in people. That's just in the long run, you know, what we're doing. You know, we talked about the internet and providing no-cost internet to now more than 28,000 kids with low income. That's about ensuring that people in our aging community have power. We have a Mayor's Council on Livability and Aging. That's about pulling together people and thinking through entrepreneurship and economic recovery. I think all of those things are really thinking about talent in our community at every age, and understanding that jobs are going to continue to iterate. That's not going to change. So how do we position people to learn how to learn? How do we position people to get new skill sets? How do we help people decide what the new area is that they might be set for.